Srila Gurudev ki jai, Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Praman Hari. So, I pranam to all, welcome. I'm very happy to be sharing with you again after 2 long years without coming here to Bulgaria. So I'm very happy to be again with all of you for this retreat that has been organized by the local devotees along with some other devotees who are visiting us. So I'm very happy to have all of you, but all of you are not here, but they are coming on their way. So there will be more. So it's very, very inspiring to see the Vaishnavas together and making different endeavors to get together and try to increase their association. Basically, that's an important point. We are here to increase our association. It's not just a matter of a formality that we get together. It's not just a social event. We take some pictures and there we are. But it's a matter of increasing the quality of our association. So that's basically the very gist, the very essence of Krishna Bhakti. How can we together increase our association? In quantity, we may be more, but in quality, we are more for the quality. The quantity is to be sacrificed for the sake of quality. Welcome, if you will. But we are not against quantity, but quality is the important thing here. Where it's an intimate circle where we can like open our hearts and try to speak the truth. That's the very idea of Sadhu-sanga, what we are trying to experience these days. So today is more like an introductory lecture. Like I have no official topic in mind, but something is coming now, so let's see. This idea of intimate circle and speaking the truth and being willing to speak the truth and being willing to hear the truth, that's a very, I mean, that's not a cheap thing to find that type of protective circles. Sometimes to say that the guru will draw, it's called Guru Rekha. Guru Rekha means like the protective circle. There's a famous story in the Ramayana with Ramachandra, Lakshman, establishing that protected circle around Sita Devi. Saying, you don't go out of this circle. I'm going to look for Ram, long story behind that, golden deer and so on. And the idea is that Lakshman represents, well, Lakshman is Balaram Nityananda, so Guru Tattva. So the Guru is drawing a circle around us and saying, do not go out this circle. This is the context. We need context. Because as I say, the saying says, a text out of context becomes a pretext. And we can become that text, if you will. We can become out of context and just run around in life looking for pretexts to over-justify that which is not justifiable, basically. So the Guru will put the context to say, this is a circle of truth. Again, this is not just some physical thing or some imposition, but the Guru represents, or the Sadhu represents this circle of truth personified. So we were speaking yesterday, that's not easy, that's not cheap, that's a big challenge, because if you are close to a serious practitioner, sincere and serious, that they were making this play of words, sincerious practitioner. I don't know how you can say that in Bulgarian, but sincerious practitioner, I mean, that's a big challenge, because that person is constantly reminding you about how to do things properly, even without saying a word, but just their very, whatever emanates from their pores, it's creating these samskars of truth. And again, truth is not a popular thing in this world. We are not precisely living in the world of truth, or in the era of truth, to be more specific. We are in Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga is characterized by the exact opposite of that. But of course, to compensate the the non-truth in Kali Yuga, we have a parallel era, if you will, Mahaprabhu's Yuga. So today we are here at the feet of Sri Chaitanya Dev, celebrating the opportunity to live in another era altogether. That's not magic, that's reality, basically. We call it Gaura Yuga, also Mahaprabhu's age, golden age, that runs parallel to Kali Yuga. It's just a matter if you choose to ride that train, if you will, no? Because the mercy is there, as we were saying yesterday. Mahaprabhu's is, no? His hand is extending, as you know, one up, one down. So up means he's tasting the higher thing himself, and he wants us to be part of that. And the hand extending down means he's trying to reach to us, so he can throw us from below, from up, down to up. So we have the chance. Jai, Vibhul. Poland Yatra ki Jai. Welcome. Jai Mahaprabhu. Vibhul. Jai Krishna Kaman. I don't have more to throw. So welcome to all of you. You need more? There are like some more there. So, so again, truth is, it's not popular, but it's really, I mean, it should become popular for us. It's not something for massive consumption. I mean, it is, but the masses are generally not interested in paying that price. I remember with Srila Siddhar Maharaj, he used to say, our Guru Maharaj repeats that sometime. He said, almost all my life I lived alone. But always I don't know how to say this in English.
I had
the luxury, no.
Luxury?
Luxury?
The luxury
I had the luxury of always speaking the truth. But I had a price. You follow? You start to speak the truth too much, and people will start running away from you sometimes. But those who do not run away from you, oh, those are the ones that you want to remain with for the rest of forever. As Sumati will say, she used to sing those messages. Hope to remain together in service for the rest of forever. Okay, that's a good one. So, Swajatya, Rupa Goswami says Swajatya means like-minded people. We can share some common interest, and we need to find common interest, because if there is no common interest, there is constant. We are out of context, as we were speaking before. Our life becomes out of context. So we cannot be all that we are destined to be. We are something, we are someone, but there is much more for us to become. And those great seers of truth have that vision. They are seeing us as cities according to our potential, so all that we can be. So we are gathering these days here, hopefully, with that hope. I hope that the hope that made all of you coming here. I don't think anyone was paying to you for coming here, but you actually have to pay to come here. So you are willing to. That was only minimum price. Now the real price we will start to unfold these days. No? That is a beautiful price, actually, because so much is being given to us. That's the point. When we hear we have to pay a price, immediately we have to bear in mind, no matter what's the price I have to pay, what I'm receiving, I mean, there's no price to pay for that. Actually, the insight of a of a sincere devotee will be, I feel embarrassed that I'm paying so little. So much is coming. And even that devotee is giving himself, herself fully, but still so much is coming. So it's a healthy embarrassment, if you will. That's embarrassment we want. Because if you don't want to go for that embarrassment, you will be embarrassed in so many other ways. And this world and Maya Shakti will take sure that you will be embarrassed day after day after day. So we become humble and we realize we are not the center. and we try to put things in context, and then we will start to speak this, to experience this other healthy embarrassment. So much is coming in a healthy way again, and I would like to reciprocate, and so much is coming, and I'm trying to pay this price, and so much is coming. So it's a very interesting, unique combination, because you feel embarrassed, you may feel small, but that thing that is coming is so generous. So you become full of hope, even though some despair may come in our lives when we feel like I'm so little, or whatever you may like to feel in that direction. But so much hope is coming from above. So strictly speaking, we have no reason to to be discouraged, actually, because the gift is so gift like. The gift is so much of a gift that as much as we realize the nature of the gift, and as much as we understand why those two hands of Mahaprabhu, what was the meaning of them, what he wants to give, and what he's asking us for, and how much he's extending himself to reach us in the form of so many things. Sadhu-sanga, Shastra, so many things, Srinam. So the extension of the Absolute is extreme, actually. This is what Mahaprabhu means. The Absolute in his most extreme, generous extension, like trying to reach, as our Acharya said, the lowest spheres. Give the highest to the lowest. That person is the only one who deserves to be named Mahavadanya, which means the most magnanimous. Only one who has given the highest thing, even to the non-highest one, to the lowest one. But you can give the highest to the highest, an elite type of business. It is the highest, but only you and you can receive it. Or you can give the lowest to the lowest. That's another variety of elite exchange. This is the lowest, and only with lowest we share this. If you give the highest to the lowest, that's like unthinkable. I mean, we are still trying to understand what does it mean. So here we are trying to speak Harikatha, to hear Harikatha in Sadhu-sanga. These two elements are really totally powerful and transformative, according to our acharyas. These two items, well, actually one implies the other. When we say Sadhu-sanga, we mean Harikatha. Because try to imagine how you call Sadhu-sanga without Harikatha. We call that Asat-sanga, basically. So that's a way of saying Asat-sanga. It means association with the unreal. So Sadhu-sanga, Sat-sanga means association or attachment. Bhagavad Gita uses the word sangha to refer to attachment. So Sat-sanga or Sadhu-sanga means I'm coming with all of you so I can increase my attachment to the truth, to the real. And only in this way, as much as I do that, I can get detached, healthy detached from the unreal. But Sadhu-sanga means Harikatha. That's an important point. Bhagavatam makes that very nicely. Susrusto Shradadhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahatsi Vayabhipra Punya Tirtha Nisevana. You have to repeat that one also there. So there in the Bhagavatam, they're saying that Susru Sosra Dhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi. So Syan Mahatsi Vayabi Prapunya Tirtha Nisivana. As much as one get association with the sadhus, with the mahats, with the great souls, what's the result of Sadhu-sanga? Vasudeva Kataruchi. You develop a taste for speaking about Vasudeva. So that's an interesting way of putting it. The result of Sadhu-sanga is Harikatha, upgraded Harikatha. 2.0, how do you say? Like upgraded version or whatever. So, what?
2.0.
Okay. So that's the point. I mean, the result of Sadhu-sanga is that after getting with all of you, I developed some increasing attraction towards the message of Hari, because that's what Sadhu-sanga is about. Mattita madgata prana udayanta parashparam katayanta shramam nitya tusyanti cha manti cha, says Krishna in the Gita very nicely. Why we get together? What's Sadhu-sanga? Sharing our hearts, sharing our minds, or as my Guru Maharaj will put it, getting together to to share how we failed today. We get in a circle like this. I won't start that. Don't be afraid. At least not today. It's the first day. We will wait. I will start to share. So, how do you fail today, Rasa? Tell me. Share me.
Very excited.
I have at least one person being part of it. Circle of fire. But the other one will say, okay, now I failed in this way, but I want to keep trying tomorrow. So we will give hope each other and get strength. That's also Sadhu-sanga. That's not only just to say everything is nice and perfect and we are super ecstatic, but today it was like embarrassment from tip to toe. I cannot confess today's. Yeah, please. But also, it's not only that also, because sometimes we may have that idea also. Sadhu-sanga is only when my mind is exploding, I look for the sadhu and just do catharsis, like do abhishek of my mind. Also that, but we are to share the good things and the nice things. If it's in sadhu, the bad things, but it's in sadhu-sanga, there are no bad things basically. So we are here to increase our our attraction for Bhagavan actually. Real sadhu-sanga has to do with increasing, developing our relationship with our deity. It's of course the Vaishnavas in themselves are worshipable, and we are to respect them as our deities as well. But also Krishna is in their hearts. They are in the hearts of Krishna. Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhunam hridayam taham madanyatina jananti naham tibyu managapi. Bhagavan is saying, I live in the hearts of my sadhus. I am their hearts. They are my heart. I do not know anyone apart from them. They do not know anyone apart from me. To put in contemporary terms, we are totally in love, the two of us. And Krishna says that's his sighs after that. Ah, my sadhus. And the sadhus say, my Krishna. Something like this. Because we are to fall in love with Bhagavan. That's the perfection of falling in love. So we need to know where to start, what to do, how to do something. So we will be in this week trying to share some ideas in this connection. Of course, for our evening, some topic has been selected. We'll be speaking about Mahaprabhu's visit in Jagannath Puri, which is a very interesting chapter of the Acharya Lila. Mahaprabhu, God, Bhagavan, teaching us how to be a devotee, how to attain this goal. We will be meditating about that, and also in the mornings we will have place for Q&A, questions and answers. So all your questions are welcome. Hopefully you have some, because we will have like 8 days of questions and answers. So at least 8 questions you may have, one per day.
Yes.
Hopefully more, but. And today also we'll be celebrating, before officially starting with our retreat on Monday, we'll celebrating tomorrow Tirobhav Mahotsav of Srivas Pandit, disappearance day of Srivas Pandit. So in the evening, right? So that will be an interesting experience, and some other activities here and there in between. But again, hopefully we can have this focus, trying to understand we are coming here for getting together, getting association, getting nourished, and increasing in the development of our relationships with each other, because basically that's our offering. That's what we can offer to our spiritual master, for example. I always like this idea. One of the most important services. This idea was with me for many years. That one of the most important services we are to offer to our guardians is to offer them good relationships among ourselves. It may seem like intangible offering. Sometimes we think more, oh, the sadhu is coming, I will give some donation, or we painted the temple, and it's great, no problem, all those things you can do. But generally, when the report of services come, generally we give more, maybe numbers. He collected this money, he distributed this book, he made this. Generally, we don't say, oh, they get along together very nicely the whole year. And that's crucial. And the other day I was hearing Shyam Sundar saying that our Guru Maharaj considered that. He says, if the thing that pleases me the most is to see you getting along with each other. So, which again, sounds intangible, but it's one of the most complex things. But I mean, we are to train ourselves here to enter there. And the there we want to go is not an isolated space where it will be us and Krishna. That's a Kanishta conception. Kanishta conception means Krishna and me. And I conduct my relationship on those terms, Krishna and me, Krishna, which in part shows, basically means I do not care about getting along with each other yet. And ultimately, it means I don't care about getting along with Krishna either. Because when you start to know who Krishna is, as I mentioned before, you say, in my heart, all my devotees are there. So if you say to Krishna, I don't care about your devotees, I only care about you. And Krishna will point here and say, look closely. Who are here? I'm not here. They are here. So if you care for me, means you care for my heart. And if you care for my heart, just see who is in my heart. All the ones you don't care to get along with. So, how much you care about me, Krishna said. So then we start to realize, oh, that's Krishna. I cannot separate Krishna from from love of Krishna, from Krishna Bhakti. So our goal is not Krishna, as we always say, with all due respect. Our goal is not Krishna. Our goal is
love of Krishna.
Okay. Shivananda says so. So yeah, we don't want Krishna without love of Krishna. Why do we want Krishna without love of Krishna? Just like a doll or something? Like, go here, bring me there, I need this, don't serve me. No, love of Krishna is Krishna in its most upgraded form. That's why Prabhupada said Krishna, along with Sri Radha, he's the real most beautiful Krishna. Without her, it's like something is missing there. Love of Krishna is missing, the very personification of divine service. So yeah, it's a very interesting, beautiful challenge, getting to know each other and getting to project again our relationships in transcendence even. Because again, this is a fully relational process, but it's really all about relationships from tip to toe, everything. So I remember again this line of Sumati when she says at the end, hope to serve along together for the rest of eternity. I mean, that's a heavy statement. And I know she's saying, really, she means that. Because I can tell you, I hope to serve with you for the rest of eternity. But if out of eternity, I do not care about getting along with you, how much do I care about serving with you for the rest of eternity? That will be a torture. Someone say, I want to serve with you for the rest of eternity, but I'm not giving that example here. That the person said, no, thank you. You go to eternity, I stay here. So it's important to understand where we want to go, where we are, but where we want to go, and all the implications of eternity. And that will be a full interaction there, and so much diversity. I don't want to overwhelm any of you, just to it's a gradual process also, so don't be discouraged or astonished, overwhelmed. But as we say, it's gradual, but not that gradual either. It's as gradual as you want to make it gradual. No? Some passion has to be injected also there. No? So it has some good doses of longing, some patience, some longing, some patience, some longing. Like the pregnant lady. He has to have patience, 9 months, but he has to have longing also. He has to really be developing some attraction for he who is to come. It's not just, oh, I don't care. In 9 months, you let me know whenever he comes, and I will embrace myself. I don't know if it works like that. No, Namrasa? I don't think so. No. Okay. But you have to wait 9 months at the same time. If you are too anxious and you want to meet your baby at the 4th month, it will be like, what we will do? Like, you have to wait. But meanwhile you wait, you have to nourish your longing. That's an interesting combination. So we have to know how to develop that. To wait what we have to wait, but not to wait those things that we need to really invest ourselves much more there. So that's the idea basically of this retreat, trying to, at least from my side, of course, you may have many more ideas, and those will be more than welcome. But of course, just being along with Vaishnavas, especially in nowadays, very unique world dynamics regarding human meetings. So that's a very, very special moment, very special occasion, and hopefully we can like treasure the experience in the innermost chamber of our heart, because again, it's not an ordinary moment. Externally, since we are just sitting in a circle here in one little room in a basement in one place in Bulgaria, that's the whole thing. But that's nothing at all what's going on actually. So really extraordinary event is taking place in the most deep sense of the term. So hopefully we can embrace all that this meeting wants to give us. So some introductory words I want to share today. I know most of you are coming and maybe are still a little tired, and we have been, but also I want to give some minutes in case you want to share something or ask something or share some of your hopes and views for this week or whatever, any questions you may have. I can continue speaking, you know me, but I like also to hear. Yeah. Who raised their hands first?
I have a question because Maharaj mentioned that Mahaprabhu is the most magnanimous, most merciful incarnation because he's extending to the lowest with the highest thing. Yes. But from our part, we have to pay some price. And usually the mention is that the price is Shraddha. But the whole our process is the development of the Shraddha from different stages, the Nishta. So what kind of Shraddha? Because even Prakita neophyte devotee has some Shraddha.
Yeah.
So what we getting, what is mean for this price, Shraddha? If we're getting this highest thing only to have some Kamala Shraddha, some weak faith?
No.
No.
Just in case, no. Yeah, that in one sense the question, the answer to your question is present in your question. You made a good point because, yeah, it is said that the price to pay is Shraddha. Shraddha means, and you cannot translate that in one word in English. You can say faith, but who knows which idea one has of faith also. No? So Shraddha means like to present one's heart. It's not just like belief, because there is a difference between belief and Shraddha. Shraddha is transrational. It's a result of a transrational experience. Because you can say, I believe in God, but how much you act out your belief, how much you live your life as if you believe. I mean, the more you walk the talk, the more I believe you believe, if you will. You follow my point. So it's not so much about believing, it's much about having certain undeniable experiences, and the result of that is a certain conviction that you want really to invest yourself in that direction. That we call Shraddha. And I always remember someone asking Carl Jung, in this connection, do you believe in God? So he said, no. He said, I don't believe in God. I know he exists. So that has to do with Shraddha. It has to do with darshan. I had some experience. It's not about I believe, I don't believe. When the plane is going down, I believe. When it goes up, I am atheist again. Because, but of course, there are levels of Shraddha, as Krishna Karnam said. So we have to begin somewhere, and the very beginning of Shraddha is called Komal Shraddha, which means like very tender faith, like very like Olokiki Shraddha, which means like mundane faith, with sounds even kind of an oxymoron, like one term is contradicting the other, like mundane Shraddha, Prakrita Bhakta, or something materialistic devotee. These type of terms are there to indicate there's a beginning. We have to begin somewhere. So the question has to do with then, so the price to pay is Shraddha, but I mean, one may think, okay, but we also hear there are 9 stages in bhakti. We can speak in many terms, but one of them is 9 stages. Shraddha, Sadhu-sanga, Bhajana, Kriya, Narata, Nibritti, Nishtha, Rucha, Shakti, Bhava, Prem. So the first is Shraddha. So one may think, okay, I must already have paid that first price. Now, after some years, maybe I'm beyond that. Well, for sure, most devotees are beyond Shraddha. Maybe not that much beyond, but Bhajana, Kriya, Narata, Nibritti, to say the least. So one may think Shraddha is back, how do you say, like left behind. I already went through that. So why you say that I have to keep paying that same currency? Because the point, and I think you mentioned that, is that every single stage is Shraddha. It's an upgraded form of Shraddha. So the first one is officially called Shraddha. But the next one, Sadhu-sanga, implies a form of Shraddha. Bhajana, Kriya, Narta, Nibritti implies another form of Shraddha. Nishtha, what does it mean, Nishtha? Firm Shraddha. Ruchi, tasteful Shraddha. So Shraddha keeps upgrading, so the price to pay is that one, actually. I mean, I have to reach the next level of Shraddha. So it's not a black or white. I already have Shraddha. What's next? Well, like when sometimes someone will say, I'm a devotee now. Yes and no. Yes, but no. Because what does it mean to be a devotee in every single sense of the term? Or what does it mean to believe in God? You may have faith, yes, but no. Because the fullest, I mean, we as practitioners, we want to be, as Prabhupada will say, strict with ourselves and merciful with others. So one of the forms it takes, and we have to understand that quote and not be dysfunctional, strict with myself. But one of the forms that takes is, I will try, whenever I hear one term, one idea like Shraddha, I will try for myself to give to that term the highest possible meaning, not the lowest possible meaning. Because I can hear Shraddha and try to take Shraddha down as much as possible. I already went through that. But if I take Shraddha and play out all the implications of Shraddha to the utmost degree, I will realize, oh, that's a goal to attain. And that applies to every single thing. Surrender. You can feel, I am already surrendered. On some social level, bureaucratic level, you're there, go to the temple and I give my monthly donation and I follow the regulative principles and I chant my round. I do fine. At the end of my life, Krishna will appear and Golok Vrindavan, there we go. Nah, it doesn't work like that. So, but if you want to play out the highest possible idea of surrender, not going traumatic, but just understanding there's much more to attain. There much. So this applies with you can come closer also if you want, no problem. I'm still vegetarian, so I won't bite you. So, and I had nice lunch today, so I'm not hungry. It's okay. Mirella fed us akanta up to the neck. So the idea with Shraddha is, that's the point. I mean, Shraddha is Shraddha. Prem is the ultimate form of Shraddha. So the idea is the price to pay is Shraddha in the form, I don't know, let's say one devotee is in the stage of Bhajana, Kriya, Narta, Nibriti. Okay, so you have to pay the price of Shraddha. Which form does Shraddha take? Nishtha. That's your next Shraddha currency. And you reach Nishtha, you have to still pay in the currency of Shraddha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav. All that is Shraddha upgraded. And Prem is fully flourished fruit like Shraddha. The flower is Bhav, the fruit is Prem. So that's the idea of Shraddha being like the price to pay. It's not something that I ended up paying that, and so now what's next? No, the same in an upgraded version. That's the very dynamics of bhakti. No? That's a very interesting thing with bhakti. I mean, I'm doing bhakti with the purpose of doing bhakti. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya, says the Bhagavatam. Bhakti comes from bhakti with the intention of pointing to further bhakti. And there's no end to that circle. It's not that someday I'm done with bhakti. I've done all the bhakti I can. I mean, the more you advance, the less you will feel that, actually. No? As we were saying yesterday, if you get to Golok Vrindavan and you appear walking with this cloth, most probably all the Brajavasi will say, oh, one devotee is coming. Let's have Sadhu-sanga and let's be purified in his company. And you will enter, and Narad Muni sometimes come, and Narad Muni is totally embarrassed. Like, these great personalities that are above my head treating me like a devotee, and they feel themselves uncivilized village people without devotion, and they are the crest jewel of all the bhaktas. So that's the paradox of bhakti. So yeah, the price to pay is in coins of of Shraddha, because again, what does it mean to have Shraddha in every single sense of the term? I mean, that's really deep, comprehensive idea, because if one really plays out the implications of what does it mean to have Shraddha, yeah, instead of feeling I have Shraddha, you will be more concentrated on all the Shraddha that remains to be attained, because there's so much to be attained.
We have this Christian upbringing, and in Christianity, they have this saying, just believe in Christ and you will be saved.
Yeah, I agree.
And we have very similar that, for example, Lord Nityananda is so merciful that he is asking just for faith.
Yeah.
But you, Maharaj, you equated this faith with complete surrender. But that means that this price is quite high, because we have to make the whole this whole sacrifice of ourselves.
It's a gradual process, for sure.
Yeah.
No? I mean, I'm saying faith can be not full surrender, can be faith. We have to begin somewhere. Again, that's the grace of Nityananda. It's not that only when you are fully surrender you can start. Okay. No, I mean, we didn't even have a clue what was the word surrender, and we were already starting without even knowing we were starting. No? Like when we were, I don't know, someday we were in the kirtan with the devotees, and you realizing what I'm doing here. I mean, how did I get there? Here, I mean, what I'm doing, like already. That's Nityananda's grace, Mahaprabhu's grace. Without even you knowing, you were already starting. Eventually, you realize, oh, I was doing sadhana bhakti without having a clue about that. But it doesn't mean that I will continue like that my whole life. Now, at one point, you become aware, okay, this is this, Sukriti, Jnata Sukriti, Ajnata Sukriti, costless grace, this and that. So you become aware of another reality, and naturally some commitment is expected, no? Because this is a very tricky thing. When we speak about the highest grace, that can lead us to laziness also. So much grace, only for this, and you, yeah, yeah. And I agree with the Christian idea. You accept Christ and you will be saved. I agree. But what does it mean? Accept Christ. I mean, that's not a joke. Accept Christ means accept Christ. It's not just lip service. Yes. It's like you marry with someone. You will say, I accept this person. Yes. And that person will say the same. But when both of the two people will know, let's see in time. I mean, hopefully you really accept, but I can tell you accept me, but you will show that decade after decade after decade after decade, how much you really meant those two words that day. You follow. So it's the same with the Guru. I accept you, Gurudev, I surrender to you. And it's we have to begin somewhere. I mean, I'm not saying that was false stuff or hoax. That was real, but even in the beginning, we may not even realize what are the implications of accepting a guru, of having children, being a sannyasi. I didn't have a clue. I mean, I have an idea. I thought I knew. Okay, this means to be a sannyasi. Okay, I accept the order. Okay, So when this stick came to my hand, some other things came also. And I started to realize, okay, this is part of the deal. This part of the deal. Okay, this was not in the contract. Oh, there was with small letters. Okay, I'm aware. Okay, that's life. I mean, you cannot just in advance know everything, because probably if you know everything, you will say, no, I won't do that. That's how it works. I mean, if everyone will tell you all this will have to happen, sometimes our tendency, oh no, thank you so much. So you won't take any commitment in any direction. That can happen. So sometimes we need some healthy cheating in between.
Some ignorance.
Ignorance is bliss, yeah, as I say. So yeah, if you accept Christ, you're saved. If you accept Nityananda's grace, you are saved. But again, in time, we start to realize what does it mean. What's the meaning of grace? What's it? Yeah, there's a price to pay. The point is, costless mercy doesn't mean that I do not have to do anything. Because sometimes we misunderstand the idea of costless mercy. Like everything is coming and just
Waiting.
save. No, it means something is coming that I do not deserve, but something is expected from me to properly receive and honor that. But it's mercy because I do not deserve. It's not mercy because I don't have to do anything. Do you follow my point? I mean, there may be some extreme cases of mercy described in the scriptures, like Krishna with Putana, that took Uddhav to say, oh, we learned that verse in Vrindavan with Sivananda. Sivananda was there also? You have to remember that, because the guy repeated that like for 3 hours. What did I say? Sivananda. Okay, Sivananda also. Sivananda and Sivanidhi. So, Aho Vakiyam Stanakala Kutam Gigyam Sayapayayad Apyashadvi Leben Gatinga Triuchitam Tatonyam Kambam Dayalu Sharanam Rajem. The system worked. We learned that verse 14 years back, but was one time after. So that Uddhava, the greatest personality, sage, devotee, one of them at least, he says that, no? He says how Krishna saved Putana, most extreme, weird, if you will, case of mercy. I mean, she wanted to kill Krishna, and Krishna just like whimsically sent her to Vatsalya Bhav. I mean, it's like the most extreme possible, like paradoxical situation. And I want to kill Krishna by presenting myself as the opposite of that. I present myself to Krishna as if I want to nourish him, but actually I want to kill him. He's a just newborn baby. Try to imagine, I want to kill a baby of 1 week, poison him. That's like, I mean, the most wicked thing on earth. And the baby is Krishna, so even more wicked. And Krishna, what did he do? Oh, he has such a nice sari and tilak. I like that. That's why I keep using these clothes, because someday Krishna may whimsically also share some mercy with me. And she was, bestowed. He bestowed on her this position of a mother in Golok. So that's called in our tradition Kripa Siddhi. This is perfection through mercy, but that's an extreme form of mercy. We are not after that. In which sense? That mercy implies you haven't done anything. In that case, that person did not do anything, just won the lottery. As I always say, if you want, it's like if you follow the example, okay, I will stop all sadhana from now on. I will follow the footsteps of Putana. What will you do? You will try to offer poison to the deity or whatever. I won't do anything. And Krishna will save me whimsically. It doesn't work like that. It's like if you say, I will win the lottery someday, so I don't have to work. Why will work? I can win the lottery. Yeah, you can, but most probably you won't. I mean, there's 0.0000 possibilities that you may win the lottery. So that's exception to the rules, no? Mercy without doing anything. So we aspire for sadhana and siddhi, which means mercy, because we say sadhana and siddhi, perfection through practice. But how do I gain in sadhana? By mercy. I mean, there is mercy, but there is practice. And as our Guru Maharaj will say, we practice in order to get mercy. So that's a perfection we We won't. If Krishna wants to bestow Kripa Siddhi, that's his own initiative. But we will try to practice. So yeah, Nityananda is very merciful. That it doesn't do away that fact. Mahaprabhu is so merciful, but still there's something we have to do. And you mentioned, yeah, giving our full self, still that's little compared to what they are giving to us. If we feel that's too much, that means we are not too aware yet of the nature and depth of their gift, basically. Because that's a fact. I mean, if we feel, oh, I have to give so much, I have to sacrifice all this for that, it means you don't have a clue what's that about yet. So when we start to feel embarrassed, I'm paying so much to too little, sorry, to get so much, then we are getting closer to the goal, basically. And you will make so much effort, but feeling more and more embarrassed for paying so little, because so much will be coming. So, and that's when we really will understand, yeah, Nityananda Prabhu is merciful. Because we can speak about that and understand that on some level, but really to really understand that, I mean, we know all the ones who glorified the mercy of Nityananda Mahaprabhu, they were not lazy people. I mean, they were not just on, like, how do you say, hamak or something like so merciful, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai, Jai Nitai. No, they were like really engaged people and sacrificed all the associates of Mahaprabhu. They were really the Goswamis, our example to follow. I mean, they were not just like watching the horizon and the sun setting, and they were really engaged in sadhana and doing so many things by thinking, I'm so small and so much grace is coming. So yeah, that's some of the meaning of those two hands of Mahaprabhu. We pray to understand more and more. So, some ideas. I hope that helps. But yeah, we have to pay that price in a way that we don't feel overwhelmed also. No? So that's why also sometimes we need to really understand all the things, because if not, we may just feel, why I have to pay that much? Or you force yourself to do more than what you can without understanding why. But the more you understand the really merciful nature of Mahaprabhu, the real glory of his gift, I mean, that's a very important part, to become aware, to acknowledge the dimension of the gift. I mean, that will inform and nourish our surrender. Because if I tell you, just surrender, and you don't have a very charming prospect on the other side in relation to surrendering to, it's like, I mean, it's a dictatorship, basically. Like, surrender. Why? Shut up, surrender. You are a sinful rascal, surrender. Sometimes, unfortunately, that type of discourse was there, and that's totally, it's nonsense. I mean it's a totally the idea of surrender, for surrender to make sense and to be valuable and charming, is that it's 100% voluntary decision. It's not that someone is forcing me to do that. I mean, they are forcing me without forcing me, if you will, by charm. If you are with a very charming person, saintly person, whatever, you feel forced in a way of saying, like attracted, like, I want to give my life in this direction. But maybe the person never told you even once you have to surrender. But you say, I want to surrender. That one's, it makes sense. It's not that you have to, I want to. Now you have to, I want to. If you don't want to, I mean, I can force you, but it's not surrender. That's not surrender. It's not sustainable project. I mean, you will go crazy, and the rest may go crazy as well by asking others in that way to surrender. But also, again, it's not the lazy thing that I just sit and wait to be inspired to surrender completely. No? It's something that you really understand. How can I increase my surrender? So that's a healthy concern on a daily basis. How can I increase the offering of my own self? Because at the end, surrender means we are the offering. That's the idea of bhakti. Yeah, we start offering a glass of water to the deity. We start offering things. But at one point you realize, I am the offering. All this was instrumental. I am the one who has to enter into the fire. So it's not the grain of rice. it's me. The grain of rice is just symbolizing my entrance into a world of sacrifice. But the sacrifice, again, has to be done in a voluntary way. And at one point, Celestial Maharaj will say, even self-sacrifice, that's not the highest thing. In one level, we sacrifice something that we know, I don't know, with understanding, I should sacrifice this part of me. It hurts a little bit. It pinches. But I know I have to do that. You have the understanding, so you choose to do that. Again, it's not, but it still pinches. But on a higher level, there's what he will call self-forgetfulness. That's about self-sacrifice. So you are so much immersed into a reality of service that thing that pinched before is no longer pinching. That thing that was sacrificed now is not a sacrifice.
So this pinching is ego, yeah?
You say that. And there's one Christian saint, he says that if it's not pinching, you are not giving yet, he said. On some level, again, we are not promoting masochism. Like, you have to feel the pain. But also you have to, as we spoke yesterday, you have to get out of the comfort zone a little bit. You cannot maybe be thrown out of the comfort zone one day fully, but some pinching, not here, not there. That's the role of the guru, as we were saying yesterday, to make us uncomfortable in a healthy way. Uncomfortable means taking you out of the comfort zone a little bit. When we start about to scream, he will stop there. Then and you will try to go back to the comfort zone. And we have to think, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. My guru is doing such a therapy with me and giving him such a hard work, and he tries to, and I go, he tries, and I go. But no problem. That's mercy. But we don't want to abuse that. That's the point, no? Because mercy, but we have to to give proper value to mercy also. So yeah. At one point, that thing that we feel a sacrifice now won't be a sacrifice anymore. I mean, I'm sure all of us have gone through that. We have to sacrifice something. Oh, but I know I have to do that. But at one point, it's no longer a sacrifice. It's become second nature, as they say in English, right? But there will be another one waiting, and gradually, and there's no end to that. But at one point, again, it's so much.
When there is love.
When there is love,
yes. We
were reading the other day about Prem Samput. I don't want to get lost in that direction, but it's getting lost and found. In the Prem Samput, it's a very beautiful treatise on the nature of love. Prem Samput means the locket love, or the love locket.
Love locket.
Love locket, sir. Do you know what's a locket? Locket? Yeah, this like small stuff that we have like. So at one point there is one verse that explains the nature of love, of Prem, and says, Prem is love, divine love, love proper, is so comprehensive, so loving, that whatever obstacles come on the way, things that before attaining love we may feel, this is an obstacle, this is whatever, something negative, pinching, sacrifice, whatever term we want. In love, all the obstacles nourish the love. Prem nourishes from the obstacles, and gives this example of the lion and the elephant. Like a lion is in the jungle and the elephant comes wanting to attack the lion. So it's an obstacle. A lion represents Prem in this case. No? So the lion will wrestle with the elephant and kill the elephant, and will feed himself on the elephant. So actually he got nourished from the obstacles. I will continue his conquering campaign, if you will. So Prem is like that. Now, whatever obstacle you put on the way, it's just increasing the love. Like a river. You have a river and it's advancing the current on some speed, and you put some obstacle to the water, and what will happen? The current will become stronger and will overcome and will continue. So the obstacle just made the river stronger. But that's happened when you have love. Before that, maybe the obstacle will you will drown in the river. So there are stages, but there's a point again that there are no obstacles. Everything is just nourishing. That's the nature of love. It takes everything on its way and feeds on that. Hairi Bhagati Premna Swabhava Kutilava Bet, say Rupa Goswami. Love moves in a crooked way like a snake. And Srila Maharaj said, that means because love is not walking in a straight line, but in zigzag, and it's embracing everything on its way. It's not neglecting anything. Everything can be incorporated, and nourishment comes from that. It's not, oh no, this is not good. This is not on higher stages. Again, in certain stages, you will like advise devotees, do not do that, be careful with that, do not go here. But when you go have prem, I mean, anything becomes part of the prem project, if you will, basically. So you develop the capacity of nourishing your love with everything.
But Gopi wanted to curse Brahma for creating blinking. So why they were so upset with him?
Yeah, that's a way. Of course, that's another way to show the same thing. Actually, I mean, the gopis are saying there, Yadav Dekshitam. Yeah, it's just they are, because that's a way. They are making a point there. That is, I mean, Krishna's beauty is such, and their love is such, that one blinking is too much. One blinking feels like a yuga. So that's basically the point made there. I mean, their love is such that it doesn't have to do with Brahma. It has to do with their attachment, and they never feel satiated, sorry, fully enough. So that's the constant, because Krishna's beauty is increasing at every moment, and the gopis' service disposition is increasing at every moment. But one depends on the other. Why Krishna increases at every moment? Because his devotees' love for him increases at every moment. So when the more beautiful Krishna becomes, the more the devotee's service disposition increases. And the more the service disposition increases, the more beautiful Krishna becomes. Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami says, it's like a competition with neither of the two parties accept defeat. Both keep increasing to keep pace with one another. And that has no end. Try to imagine. We want to enter there. So now we are in the training camp, gradually, but not that gradually. Like this.
So no pinching, no progress.
No pinching?
No progress.
That's a nice way to put that, for sure. Yeah. And as our Guru Maharaj said, is it like spiritual change spiritual life is about change. That's another way to put that. I mean, change is not always welcome by us. or it's welcome when it's in the form that we would like. I mean, I would like to change. I would have to have a better car. I would like to change. Or I would like to change in this direction, but sometimes Krishna has his own idea of what we should change. And that's the point. Who I have more faith in, Krishna, the sadhus, or what I think I should change. So yeah, some pinching. But again, in a healthy way, not in a traumatic way, like I'm a sinner and we will fail in that. That's also part of the game. It's not that I will always make the proper choice and do the great thing. But even when we make that mistake, we can learn from that. So there's no loss, even in those embarrassing pinching moments. But yeah, as Krishna Karnam say, when the pinching comes, it's important to understand why it's pinching. It's not that the pinching in itself is pinching. I feel itself pinching. When that same circumstance goes to another person, it's not pinching him or her. It's pinching me. Why it's pinching me? It's not so much why it's pinching, why I feel the pinch. Because the pinch is inside of me. It's not with external thing pinching. It's some pinching inside. As I get rid of that, there's no more pinching. So that's a real commitment and acceptance that takes progress. Like, okay, it's not about the environment. It's not like there are no enemies outside.
Anartha Nivriti is full of pinching stage, yes.
And Anartha Nivriti lasts till Bhava, basically. To give you full enthusiasm, I'm saying. Astrada lasts till Prem. Anartha Nivriti will be with you almost till the goal. Will accompany you like a very close friend till you have to say, okay. So we need to know how to deal with our Nartas, because they are living with us for a long time, and they will be living with us for some considerable time. So eventually we will invite them, like Okay, continue journey, or I will say mostly not to eliminate the anarthas, but transform them, integrate them in a higher synthesis. There are no enemies again. So if there are no enemies, there are only friends. I still perceive enemies. And Krishna says in the Gita, Vandurat matmanastasya jinatmai vatmanajitaha natmanastu satrutve vartitat maiva satruvat. The mind out of control is the worst enemy. The mind under control is the best friend. And the implication is, well, make your mind your best friend. Or the implication is, make your worst enemy your best friend. Your worst enemy has the potential of becoming your best friend. Imagine. You want to take that challenge? That's the idea. There are no enemies. There are no worst enemies. They are all potential best friends. I mean, that's the philosophy. That's the theory, at least. Of course, you have to walk the talk, and that's not so easy. But in theory, that's the idea. Of course, I know it's not so easy to apply. But there are no enemies. Everyone is a potential best friend. So the only question is, why do I do not feel that yet? Why I feel he's an enemy, that is an enemy, that person, that circumstance, that whatever headache shouldn't be happening, it's against me. I play the victim, as we say, yes, the victim consciousness. But if you really understand, this is very basic philosophy for us, the very basic regarding all that we have to say. If you understand everything is a potential best friend, there's no place for victim consciousness. From day one, you're like, oh my God. And of course, the ego will feel like suffocated, like, oh my, they are not giving me like a breath here. So hopefully you still can breathe, you can survive all this. But yeah, it's important that we do not cheat ourselves at least. And we know in theory, this is how it should be. Maybe in practice, I'm a little bit distant from that, but I want that to happen. We are close with people who is really engaging in that, especially more advanced practitioners, that becomes more realistic also. Because if not, it sounds like I will never do that. I can never. It's so high. It's so no. But it's possible. But we need the hope of those that are giving that example, that are supporting us, tolerating us, nourishing us, loving us, despite all the disaster that still may be lingering there.
So again, Sadhu-sanga.
Yeah, over and over again we converge in that point. But we need to again go there by going in all the things we are speaking. It's not just Sadhu-sanga. But why? Because of all the things and more.
Philosophy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we all always conclude in that single point. There was one question there.
No, I completely forgot it. I was
Sorry. It happens.
It happens.
Ask first.
No problem. That was the question that needed to be manifested today. So it's clear the idea. I don't know. It's like an elaboration of what we were trying to do this week here. So we are concluding again in Sadhu-sanga. Yeah, giving hope to each other and getting together and learning to, again, to develop hope, because all of us are sadhakas. So we have not reached the ultimate perfection, probably. At least I'm not there, just in case. But we have received some contact from above that gives us like some portal was there, like, oh, no? So like we feel that a saintly personality is looking at us and is only seeing our best maximum potential. So just to have someone like that in our life, to have one person that, he or she is, when he or she looks at me, as Guru will say, he or she is not judging me from who I was, who I am, but all that I can be. So just to have that merciful glance in my life from one single person, what's be more than one, and that should like make our heart tremble with emotion and move and feel, I want to do something with this. I want to honor that glance in some way. That glance is trying to and keeps and has hope. No, and I keep saying to myself, I cannot do it. No, no, it's too much. But that glance is still coming. And just the glance saying, yes, you can, you can, you can. No, no, no. This is struggle. The glance of the saintly person, and we trying like to be evasive of the commitment. But eventually that glance will win. And that's our hope. That glance will win, and we really will understand. Yeah, I want to. It doesn't matter how much it takes. But I want to try it the best possible way, and until I reach there, I don't care about anything else. I want to go there. May take some lifetimes, no problem.
I would like to, at the end, express the doubt which some devotees have about this merciful nature of Lord Chaitanya. Why there is not, why real sadhus are so little. And if he is so merciful, why is so hard to find a real sadhu? Because there are many sadhus, but sometimes because devotees they became disappointed because the sadhu is not up to the standard. Yes, and there is some faith betrayal and different problems.
Yeah.
So,
there are many things to say there, of course, because also that something that can happen is you can over idealize the sadhu, and maybe the sadhu was not promoting him. I mean, there are many cases. Again, I'm giving just one possibility. A sadhu maybe is not promoting himself as a super sadhu, but you are projecting that. And maybe eventually you realize he or she was not what I thought, but it doesn't mean that that person was cheating you. It means just that you are over idealizing a particular person. That can be an option. I'm not saying that's always the case. The other cases are there. But the reply to your question, I think, will be what we spoke. Why Mahaprabhu is so merciful?
And so it is.
And that speaks about that there's something to do in connection to that mercy. And not everyone is fully ready to do all that on that level. I mean, again, there are levels of sadhus. It's not just a black and white thing. Like, strictly speaking, every devotee is a sadhu of one kind. I know that sometimes the practical use of the term tends to point to the highest possible entities. But strictly speaking, everyone is a sadhu. The word sadhu comes from sat, as we say. Sat. Sat means truth, honesty. Sadhu means an honest person, basically. Of course, in the context of bhakti, we're speaking. So you can be honest. I mean, you can be still with issues to solve, but be honest about that and be willing to change. So you are sadhu. What does Krishna says in the Gita? He does a very unique definition of sadhu. Most controversial verse of the Gita. Sadhu reva samantavya samyak vyasita hisara. So he's saying, who is a sadhu for me? He said, the one.
He's doing worse things.
You have it.
Obviously.
That who engages in sudurachar. No? Achar means behavior. Durachar means bad behavior. Sudurachar means very bad behavior. Very bad behavior. He said, apiche, even if that person behaves totally wrong, bhajanti mamananya, but he or she has the sincere. Of course, this verse has many levels of interpretation, and ultimately it speaks about the gopis, but there are many levels of sadhus. So, bhajanti mamananya, the point here is, if you're sincerely wanting to surrender to me, even though you are still a disaster and do so many unwanted things, but you want to change that, still you cannot, but you want sadhu reva samantavya. For me, Krishna says, I consider that person sadhu. Samyak vyasita hisaha. That person very quickly becomes sober and attains me, and so on. Prambhavati datmatma, and so on, next verse. So he's saying there, sadhu. So he's not saying there. The sadhu is the topmost pure paramahamsa who only takes this and that. He's saying the suduracharya. No? Not the charya, but suduracharya. No? No? So my point is, it's nice that we remain with a flexible notion of sadhu-ness. It's not just only the Swami is a sadhu, the Guru is a sadhu, the pure devotee is a sadhu, and all the rest are what? No? And that's subtle because we can engage in Vaishnava Aparadha. I mean, if you do not see the sadhuness in every devotee, that's a form of Vaishnava Aparadha. Maybe we are not aware of that. We don't have like a bad intention, but you are not properly acknowledging the level of sadhuness in each one. So that may check your progress. So it's important to understand every devotee is a sadhu. If they are, again, devotee means I'm sincerely trying to practice and willing to advance on some level or another. And there are levels of sadhus. Of course, I know that you were asking about the Mahasadhus, if you will. But again, to reach there, that's not a joke. That's not so easy. It takes time. So, and you say, you connected this, the mercy, the extreme mercy of Mahaprabhu, Nitai, Lord Chandra. But again, it's not that the mercy means I do not do nothing. Mercy comes, you have to do a lot. I always make this point. Actually, it's more difficult to deal with mercy than with justice. Why? Because mercy comes, and mercy means you do not deserve this. Try to imagine, and you want to only have mercy in your life. It means all the things that you will come, you will never deserve them. No matter what you do, you will never deserve them. That's a hard pill to swallow for the ego. Because we want to deserve something at one point. So, okay, you want to deserve something, go back to the realm of karma. Action, reaction, you got what you deserve. You follow. It's easier in one sense to remain in the realm of justice. I do something and I got what I deserve. And the ego is more like, okay, I'm suffering, but it's what I deserve. But if you enter into the realm of mercy, it's deserved less. I don't know if that term exists, but you don't deserve that.
Undeserving.
Yeah, whatever. So it's hard for the ego. You have to be so humble to only deal with things that you do not deserve. But you're happy. It's not that, oh, I don't deserve this. I would like to know. You're just like grateful and giving yourself to that. So my point is, it's not so easy to deal with mercy. It sounds cheap. No? Mercy, mercy, mercy. But if you play out the implications of mercy, it means you have to have a level of humility to maintain yourself in that circle. And then you realize, oh, there are so many that are on that stage of fully drenched into that highest mercy, not leaving that circle at any single moment. You have to have such level of humility, such level of acknowledgement of your smallness and the greatness of Bhagavan. So Krishna himself said that in the Gita. Many people that come, few, not because we are elitists, but there are so many degrees of, and of course, maybe in this lifetime you see, okay, these little sadhus here, but it doesn't mean that all the rest will never reach there. It just takes time because the goal is so deep. Like, you know, this devotee asked one Srila Siddhar Maharaj, Guru Maharaj, how many lifetimes do I have will take for me to reach the goal, the ultimate goal of bhakti? And he said, well, like 3 lifetimes. And the devotee was shocked. Like 3 lifetimes, like a lot. And Srila Siddhar Maharaj was shocked. Is that too much? You are Brahmanda Brahmiti Kona. I mean, you are wandering in samsara for uncountable births, and just 2-3 lifetimes, and you can, that's too little. He was shocked. He was not able to. And the devotee was, when he saw the Srila Siddhar Maharaj shocked, he was shocked again. Like realizing, I mean, it's nothing. It's nothing. So the point is, maybe in this lifetime, they won't reach that, and most will be in the first level of sadhuness, but next lifetime. So yeah, it's a high jewel. There's a price to pay. Prabhupada will give that example. If everyone can buy some plastic jewel, but you want a real diamond, not everyone will be ready to acquire that. Again, it's not acquiring, I have the money, I deserve that, no, but it's a willingness to deal with that degree of mercy, I will say, something like that. I have to play my part in that. So. But the sadhus are there, that's the important thing, even if you want to speak in terms of 1, 2, you can count with one finger these higher sadhus. We don't need more than one, in one sense. I mean, if you really find a real sadhu, for sure there are more, but we have to know what to do with that one sadhu we met first. Because if we are too anxious, I want more. I mean, why you want more? Like that people say, I don't want to surrender to one guru because I don't want to limit myself to only one guru. That means you don't want to have any guru whatsoever. But as much as you surrender to one guru, you will discover so many other gurus in life. But first you have to start one place. So I will say that, we have to try to do our best with that single great sadhu, but also acknowledging, apart from that single great sadhu, there are so many other sadhus on different levels that are around us. And we have also to acknowledge that, because that great single high guru will teach us, there are other sadhus also. It's not just me, because that's again another form of kanishta. Krishna and me, or my guru and me. Only the topmost sadhu and me. Like if you are on that level, that I only can deal with topmost sadhus. That's not like that. I mean, if you are the topmost sadhu, you will appreciate the smallest expression of devotion anywhere. Even if someone has no bhakti whatsoever, you will be extracting something from that. So there's no way to escape the real conclusions here. So, okay, some words today. Hopefully that constitutes a nice beginning of our retreat. And thank you so much again to all of you for coming. And see you tomorrow for Srivas Thakur Tirubab Mahotsav. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Sri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Baladev Subhadre ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanand. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Hari Bol.